This is Beyond the Bench with Nick Morgasen and Nick Fodera. A look at sports and pop culture from beyond common sense. The show that constantly goes off the rails and might never get back on. When you don't belong, you're a bench warmer. On this show, there's no riding the bench. This is Beyond the Bench on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Bench. That's Nick Fodera. I'm Nick Morgasen.
So, you might be wondering why you didn't see us last week. So scheduling conflicts are not just something that happens when a Fox News host is drunk, and it's not something that just happens with Howard Stern's guests. We actually did have some scheduling issues, but we're here right now trying to at least spread some Christmas cheer if you are feeling a little bit down right now, and I wouldn't blame you if you were.
I mean, we'll get into all that. I mean, with all the COVID issues, especially what's going on in our neck of the woods in New York.
Oh, absolutely. But again, let's not get too depressing off the bat. Actually, are we getting depressing off the bat?
Well, actually, I'll let you decide. But before we go there, make sure you follow the show on social media, on Twitter at BeyondTheBench1. Follow the show on Facebook, facebook.com/BeyondTheBench1, and follow the Empty the Bench Podcast Network at ETB Network. So, first of all, how has your week been since we haven't done a show?
It's been weird. It's been weird. It's been taxing. It's been tiring. It's been angering. It has been rage-inducing at times, and in the middle of it, I've had some bad acid indigestion. So we're just running the whole spectrum of emotions here.
You sure you don't need Pepto-Bismol?
Yeah, I could use that.
What's that dumb commercial? Upset stomach diarrhea?
Yeah. Relief spells ROLAIDS.
Oh, man, I miss those commercials back in the day. They need to bring back the old commercials on TV.
Yeah.
But
still.
I mean, this is our last episode for the year, I think, though, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Christmas. We'll go into New Year's. We'll talk about what's going on with the show going into 2022. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on with the podcast network, which is growing day by day.
And we've got some great stuff to announce, but we'll wait to announce it. But first, we've got stuff to get into.
Okay, so this story, when I first saw it, I said, well, and we're talking about COVID here. No surprise. Stephen A. Smith revealed on First Take that he has tested positive for COVID-19. Are we really surprised?
No, considering what cases have done over the past couple of weeks, especially here in New York, where the Omicron variant is essentially 90% of the cases being returned, because they've
done the new leader, right?
They've done that kind of genetic sequencing.
It's the new leader.
Yeah. And it's 75% of all the cases nationwide, so it is more quickly overtaking the Delta variant in a frightening amount of speed. And I don't blame people if they feel a little, on edge, because, we were supposed to have been done with this, but this virus really doesn't seem to care. But as far as Stephen A. goes, I mean, I wouldn't have exactly tried to use his COVID diagnosis to turn it into content.
Yeah,
that's like using a funeral to announce the fact that you're putting out you're putting out a new service as a pallbearer.
Yeah, that was a little much. When and you know this, how do we find out most things that we want to find out? The garbage dump. The garbage dump that is social media. Yes, I'm talking about you, Zuckerberg. Yes, I'm talking about you, Dorsey. I'm talking about you two morons that allow dumb shit to end up on social media. So I go online, I see a video, Stephen A. announcement coming up. I'm like, oh no. I was like, please be that he's leaving First Take.
There were two guesses as to what outcome that would be. And unfortunately, behind door number 2 was COVID.
I was hoping that he was going to say, I'm announcing my resignation from ESPN for the Stephen A. Smith network, but it didn't happen.
I mean, it wouldn't be... both of those are viable options at this point. But still, I mean, I'm glad, as he announced on the show, his symptom, it's a breakthrough case, because
He's
I don't,
vaccinated.
yeah, he vaccinated, but not boosted. I don't think.
Yeah, but as long as you're
Yeah.
vaccinated, it's better than
Yeah,
nothing.
as long as he's vaccinated, he's still having mild symptoms, thank God. And he's apparently, he says he's on the mend and he'll be okay. So,
but I'm questioning one thing. If he had COVID, how long did he know? This is what I don't get about this, Nick, about how long in advance, or who should know that you have COVID and who needs to be checked.
Department of Health first. They're the ones who know first because they're the ones handling your test.
No, but I'm saying, so he tested positive. Does that mean everybody around him had to go get tested?
That means, the contact tracers dealing with his case probably had to call everybody. He had to say who he's been in contact with the past couple of days, and now they've had to slowly and methodically. If it works the same way for celebrities as it does for lay people, he would have had to. The contact tracers would have had to slowly but methodically make their way through his list of contacts. Anybody who's been in close contact with him over the past couple of days.
Well, that means anyone who was in the First Take studio, because that's where he was in studio.
When was the last time he was in the First Take studio?
He's been in there they've been back for weeks.
So, yeah. So if you're working at ESPN and you have had close contact with Stephen A. Smith, get yourself tested.
But you know what? But there's a weird thing going on that, like, and they're saying on the news, and I heard Fauci. And by the way, let's get this out of the way. This has nothing to do with politics. I'm just bringing up a point.
Yes, this is something that should be apolitical, yet it somehow is political.
I'm just bringing up information. That's all I'm doing here. So I don't want to hear in the social media BS comments on our page, oh, he made it political. It has nothing to do with politics. My point is that they're saying that this virus is almost avoiding the vaccine protection.
Well, it's because of mutations in the spike protein, which it used. I know I'm playing amateur epidemiologist here, but based on everything I've read, because I'm a neurotic person by nature, so I'll read pretty much everything I can get my hands on.
Right.
It's mutations in the spike protein that get past, which allow the virus to get past the initial level of antibodies that are generated by the vaccine once it gets there.
But I'm tired of this, and I know you and I are going to sound like a bunch of COVID vaccine protectors at this point. I don't really care, but
I mean, I'm tired of it. But at the same point, I mean, I'm lucky. I'm lucky that I don't think that I've been able to work from home, that I've been able to not have to go out, and I don't have. A lot of people don't have that luxury, and a lot of people. I don't treat it as a personal moral failing, or I don't anymore, that if you test COVID, you must have done something. You test positive, you must have done something wrong. And
no,
that's the wrong way to think about it.
Right. And I've seen, and obviously I'm not going to name names, obviously, but like all over my newsfeed, like I see a few people now testing positive that were vaccinated. Like it's
shockingly talented at breakthrough infections.
And like I said, Thursday and Friday.
Not mean that the vaccines do not work.
Right, but Thursday and Friday of last week in New York City alone, there were 15,000 plus positives per day, and 22,000 plus in New York State alone on each day.
I know. Believe me,
it's
I can't say how I know, but I know.
I know, but it's crazy. And you know what? I'm tired. And I think they said like 50 million people in the U.S. are still not vaccinated with at least one shot.
Well, last I checked, it was like 61% of people completed the vaccine series, which is pretty piss poor.
Well, wait. Completing the vaccine series means like either 2 shots of Moderna.
Yeah. 2 shots according to the CDC, but that will change.
Right. And
when it will change, I have no idea.
Well, I think what's going to happen soon, and if it happens, you're going to see a huge riot across the country when they change it, is they're going to say you have to get a booster, which I'm totally fine. I'm just waiting.
Which you should get a booster. Anybody who's listening to it, you really should get a booster. Try to be as safe as you can this holiday season. I know it sucks, Believe me, I know it sucks.
You know what the scary part is? Like, it's almost like 6 degrees of separation with Omicron at this point, where if you throw a dart, you're going to hit somebody that you know that has tested positive.
Or you're going to hit somebody who knows somebody that tested positive.
But to go back to put a bow on this story, that Stephen A. Smith travels constantly. We know this. He's back and forth from New York to LA. He's going to NBA Countdown because, God forbid, Stephen A. needs another job at ESPN. And he's traveling around with the crew. So what do you think was going to happen? Isn't this playing the percentages at this point that he was going to get it?
Yeah, but especially over the past couple of weeks, but nobody thought that it was going to. Well, epidemiologists knew it was going to be bad when they first sequenced the goddamn thing. But the average layperson did not realize that the caseload was going to spike like this. Because remember, back Thanksgiving, Omicron was just a rumor.
Well, it was a mutation of mRNA.
Yes, but there was still so much we don't know. And as far as we know, it hadn't been gotten to our shores yet, right?
Oh, wait a minute. They're now, and tell me if you saw this in the news anywhere. They're talking about Delta and Omicron becoming a super...
I don't know about that. Just follow the science here.
All right. Just to make a long story short, you and I have been talking about this for a while. And the whole COVID-19 situation, now we're seeing it hit big names like Stephen A., like we've been saying. And I don't know. Like I said earlier, 6 degrees of separation, right?
It is. But you know what? The only thing that we can do right now is out absent to any kind of societal changes or response from the federal level, which really doesn't seem like it's coming anytime soon. The only thing you can do is just, hope that he gets better and just do everything you can to protect yourselves.
I mean, I'll finish
off.
And
that includes getting vaxxed, getting boosted, getting tested, and wearing a mask if you're in public places. It's simple as that.
And by the way, can people stop with, oh, I'm not wearing a mask. It's not helping me. It's not doing anything.
Because you can't see that it's helping you, you moron.
And you know what we're seeing, and I'll finish off on this. The NHL is postponed all the way through the Christmas vacation. They were supposed to stop on Wednesday. They stopped now, or they announced Monday that they were stopping. The NBA
Beckman actually got on top of something before it got worse.
They got on top of it before the NBA. The NBA is in massive emergency mode, trying to figure out what the hell they're going to do.
Which, as Mr. NBA, that's got to just chap your ass to no end.
Yeah, I mean, how many players have we seen end up in NBA protocol, NFL protocol? Don't even get me started with the NFL. The NFL can't even get out of its own ass at this point.
It is pretty much jammed up its own ass. If it's not at least part of the way there, it's at least digging for something up there.
And by the way, remember we said this on the last episode of Empty the Bench that 39 positive tests came out that first day when everything was going to shit.
Yes.
Then it went up to 80. Now the NFL is in a massive bind. We're coming off last weekend where all the games were switched. We're having a Tuesday doubleheader. We had a Tuesday doubleheader, I should say.
They're just trying to do everything we can to try to say, oh, that's well, when we know it's not.
All right. Let's move on to a little more unique story, to say the least.
To say the least, yes.
So there was a report. Now, when I saw the source of the story, and I saw that it was from MSN, which, by the way, since you and I are old enough to remember MSN as a news source.
Yes.
Some people who are in their teens are not going to understand MSN was the original Google, if you think about it.
Yes, it was. And I remember MSN. I remember commercials for MSN. And I remember asking Jeeves. Jeeves never answered my questions, though.
No, Jeeves just said, Magic 8 Ball, try again later.
That's not what that hand gesture looked like.
Oh, my bad. Whatever. It is what it is. Well, If you think about it, that is. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. If you think about it, that is getting help. If you think about it.
I mean, it's helping something. It's helping something. What is up for debate? But still, that's actually a brilliant segue, because guess what we have to talk about?
Well, I was just going to say that's a real master bait of a question.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, wow, I went there. Okay.
Quit asking questions like that. You're going to go blind.
Yes. So this story from MSN, and I'm still trying to 100%. According to this story at MSN, Ayesha and Steph Curry, who we all know are the NBA's perfect version of a couple, supposedly.
It's as close to it like a Stepford thing as you can get.
So apparently the report is that they're having an open marriage with side hookups. Will Smith, anybody?
Yes, and the reason why he brings that up is to make a very interesting point. There were rumors swirling around Will Smith and his female co-stars, I think Margot Robbie in particular, for a while before they actually came out and said it. So it begs the question, you don't say something like this, or something like this is not reported unless somebody has a picture of something that they should not have gotten a picture of.
Well, what did I say to you?
Somebody's blackmailing somebody else.
What did I say to you before the show? Where's the king's ransom?
Yes, there has got to be some kind of ransom involved, or some version of blackmail, because there's no way that Steph Curry and Ayesha Curry would ever actually talk about this unprompted.
Well, I guarantee you.
I mean, it's not exactly coffee table conversation. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm good. Just had a couple of minutes with my side piece. I'm fine. These are not things you mention in not even polite conversation, but NBA people who are as famous as the two of them are. Because you could say that Ayesha Curry is famous enough that non-NBA people know who she is, right?
Yes. I mean, she's had her own cookbooks, and she's done cooking. She's done, I think she's helped produce what's that show called on ABC? Holy Moly. She helped Steph with that. So there's plenty of things. Now, I was going to make a horrible joke. I was going to say this is real red table talk.
Don't do that.
Well, too late. I already did.
Why do you always do that? You say you aren't going to make a joke, then you make a joke anyway, and then you wonder why people get mad.
That's the best part. I love irritating people for no reason.
Exactly, which is the problem.
It's my calling card.
there has to be something else that we're not being told here, because usually,
well, wait,
it's almost like the Dennis Rodman effect.
Well, wait a minute. It says here, and I love and we need to talk about this at one point also, an anonymous report on the hot rumor page, and I don't know how to pronounce this person's tag, at Dioxmoy, at DEUXMOI.
Domois.
Apparently posted the rumor and the speculation, which MSN decided to do a whole story on.
Yeah, Domois is actually how you say it.
And it says they alleged one of NBA's marquee couples actually has an unusual agreement.
These things are probably more common than you might think around famous people, because, us plebes, I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine. I mean, we've all had fantasies. Those of you who have been married have probably had fantasies about it.
Oh, says the person who doesn't say weird things. You're saying weird things now.
But it's the point that I'm trying to make here is this seems to be something that is depressingly common among famous, beautiful people. I am not famous, nor am I beautiful, so I'm on the outside looking in.
God, if we were tens, what does that make the rest of the celebrity world? A million.
Maybe around 20, 25, but please, there's even no hypothetical universe in which I'm a 10.
By the way, MSN did a no-no in journalism. Are you ready for this? So when they posted the this person's account message that they put up, they left the email in. That's a no-no in journalism.
That's how you can tell it's a deadline story. That's how you can tell somebody had to file this under a deadline and didn't get. didn't get the time to go over everything else.
But that's a no-no, right?
Yes, it's a no-no, but you try not to do these things. The problem is when you're on a deadline, certain things seem to fall by the wayside. That's clickbait for you.
But the problem is, and you know what? This is part of the problem. This is part of the reason why I'm kind of done with the garbage dump that is media sometimes, because they post dumb shit stories like this that we somehow end up talking about because we think they're so dumb, and we're calling attention to it because it's dumb.
It's kind of meta when you think about it.
What do you mean?
We're talking about how stupid things are, yet we're talking about it anyway.
That's what I mean.
Crying the fact that we have to talk about it, but we're talking about we're talking about decrying the fact that we have to talk about it.
I guess because I just want to call out the stupid people who do these dumb stories. Look,
I understand, but you understand how the clickbait economy works. The content mill always must churn. So if they're going to, even if this story was a complete ass pull, it gets eyeballs on screens. It's faster than anything else would.
That's like the sports world. Do you remember the saying you used to say when teams would try to get
asses and seats?
Right, same thing, except you're getting eyeballs.
Yeah, you're getting eyeballs on screens.
It's so ridiculous, and this is why.
By the way, make sure you like and subscribe our page at Beyond the Bench. Make sure you like and subscribe to ETB Network. We won't take advantage of that.
Yeah, we don't clickbait. We've never clickbait, and you can vouch for that too, Nick. In 5 years, from the time we did the Unspoken podcast to now, to Empty the Bench, to Beyond the Bench, to all our other shows that are coming, if I catch anybody clickbaiting, they will be thrown out of here so quickly they will not even know what hit them.
Now to our next topic: to six wonderful things you need to know about not being a kangaroo this holiday.
Well, save that. We're going to get to the holidays.
The U.S. Attorney's Office has determined that this one weird trick can stop you from paying income taxes. I used to look like this when I was 29. Look what I did, and look what I look like when I'm 31.
My favorite is the one when they show the celebrity when they were a kid and what they look like now when they show those stupid clickbait things.
Yes, I have eyes to see, don't I?
Yeah, but all right. Let's get one more out of the way. We started to talk about this. So, per Shams Charania for the Athletic, and a bunch of other platforms, which I can't keep track of at this point because they're so busy. The NBA has informed teams playing on Christmas Day that the league is preparing contingency plans. Now, you can't see it, but there's smoke starting to churn inside my head right now.
Yes, and I don't even know what a contingency plan would be. It's not like they can create a second Christmas.
A contingency plan in technicality could be go somewhere else and breathe. That could be a contingency plan.
What would they would go back to no fans, or?
Well, the NHL has already started doing that in Canada. They cut off the border traveling between the U.S. and Canada. Look, the NHL beat you to getting something right. That's embarrassing.
It's just a look. We all know that Adam Silver's not really going to get out ahead of the right thing unless he sees a unique angle he can use to stick it to the other two leagues.
I just don't understand. I mean, the NBA is so effed up right now.
And they're so banking. The last couple of years, they are so banking on Christmas Day games.
Oh, and
do gangbusters ratings. It's been like that for about a decade.
And by the way, as this recording, Woes just broke something as we're taping now. Adam Silver tells Malika Andrews that the Omicron variant constitutes 90% of the league's cases right now, beyond dominant. Gee, if you had a contingency plan in place, this wouldn't have happened.
Let's file that under D for duh.
I feel like you and I have said that a million times, D for duh. Like,
ugh.
Well, guess what? You know what that means? It means the NBA has to go on pause.
Get your friggin'. But you know what? Take 2 weeks off. Is anybody really going to be that upset?
Does anyone give two fucks about sports right now with the way COVID is going?
I mean, there are certain pockets of the country that do, but you know what? At a certain point, profit seems to take precedence over player health, right? And that's without even getting into the Kyrie Irving. I'm going to wait until there's a vegan version of the vaccine so I can actually get one.
By the way, fuck the NBA for allowing Kyrie Irving back in, and the Nets allowing him back in.
So you're taking Stephen A's side.
You don't think he's right?
Yes, he is right.
For one time, we're actually agreeing with Stephen A on something. Sound the alarms.
That's how you know things are weird and screwed up.
I'm sorry. The Nets deserve to be criticized and beat up over this decision.
They're going to look, like I said, it's going to be profit over players' health.
You know what's even worse? You know what's even worse? He went right into COVID protocols after coming back.
Again, because he just doesn't seem to get the memo. It just doesn't seem to penetrate the old cranium. And it's not even just him. I could guarantee you, he's probably not even the highest profile player to not be vaccinated, or at least say they're vaccinated.
Well, wait a minute.
They're not.
How about just going into health and safety protocol? KD, James Harden. We're seeing all these big names. Giannis is in health and safety. That's why they're saying the Christmas Day games are in jeopardy because they don't have enough stars. People are not going to want to watch.
And when they don't want to watch NBA on Christmas, that means that Adam Silver gets a big lump of shit in his stocking.
And by the way,
he's Jewish, so yeah.
Is he? I didn't. Oh, right.
He's Jewish. So
yeah, Silver is definitely Jewish. Wow, that sounds horrible the way I just said that. But
you're Jewish, so what?
Yeah, no. I'm just saying it sounded weird the way I said it. But yeah,
yeah, I get it. It did sound a little weird, but still.
But here's the other issue: they're already competing against the NFL for eyeballs. You think this is helping their case? No,
absolutely not. We know that.
So
and Roger Goodell seems to be waging a war of attrition against his own players.
And another thing, and we might release this episode early just because there's a lot of news going on the day we're recording this, but now there's a report that Taylor Heineke and Kyle Allen were not able to test out of protocols.
So then again, the wheel turns around and around and around. You know, you could have fooled me when you said we were almost 2 years into this pandemic, because we seem to be running into the exact same problems, just in different permutations.
But here's the problem. Roger Goodell didn't get out in front of this. Adam Silver did not get out in front of this.
You were expecting them to?
That's their job.
First of all, no, that's not their job. Second their job is to make money for the owners.
No. Their job is to protect the money makers. Who's the money makers? The players.
He's not there. Well, in Silver's case, yeah. But if you think that if player safety interferes with the bottom line, you really think he's going to choose option A and not option B?
If there's no players,
I'm being cynical about these things. But the evidence that I've seen over the past couple of months is just not giving me a lot of faith.
But if there's no players, there's no money, Nick.
So maybe I am being cynical.
That's my point. The owners can cry foul all they want, but if they don't have the players, there's no money. If there's no money, there's no business. And if there's no business, Roger Goodell's out of the job. And Adam Silver's out of the job.
Good point.
So it all, you know how usually we say trickle down? I'm saying trickle up.
Actually, yeah, it flows upwards.
Because it starts with the players. The players flow into everybody else.
Yeah, it's like a shovel pass. It's like, ugh.
Or it's kind of like, what we said before. Like, you're going to need Pepto-Bismol because you have to clear out a bad stomachache. So, but I don't know. It's weird. It's odd. It's ridiculous. Dare I say the NHL is handling this the best? I mean,
it's the least worst at this point, but
I didn't think Gary Bettman could do his job.
Of course, I mean, look, when you make Gary Bettman look good, you know things are weird.
Yeah, there's a massive problem going on in the world of sports. I mean, like we said, you throw a dart, you hit somebody, someone either has it or knows somebody else who has it. So
yeah,
it's one of those things where we just gotta, unfortunately, be safe. But all right, enough with this news. Let's talk Christmas. I need something. I need to end the show on something Christmassy, if we can be positive, somewhat.
I mean, I think we can be positive. I mean, because we're not exactly in the same place that we were. I mean, we're not exactly in the same place that we were last year. I mean, we do have vaccines, and they work. Not as well as some others were intending, but they work. I mean, but at a certain point, what this Christmas season really is, although, and I really do feel bad for people who can't celebrate or are scaling back plans or even canceling plans because of it. Because believe me, I feel your pain having to do this. I mean, having to go through this gauntlet again. But you know what? We have to we get through it together because that's the only way anything gets done together.
Yeah.
You know that.
I mean, I feel bad for everybody because, again, National Guards are being activated in a lot of places because they can't control the COVID cases. I feel bad for the doctors. I feel bad for everyone.
And the medical professionals are going to be burnt out. But you know what? You try to have yourself a merry little Christmas anyway.
I mean,
try to do everything you can to be safe.
I mean, I really don't want to go into the whole thing where some medical professionals are railing against the COVID vaccine. That's for a whole different episode, I think. But
yeah, it is.
But yeah, it's just I need some resemblance of positivity, which I feel like doesn't really.
Okay, you want positivity? Candy canes in flavors other than mint. Yes or no?
Cookies and cream.
Let's see. Wait. What did you say? You're breaking up a little bit.
Cookies and cream candy canes.
No.
Why not?
No.
I saw them in the store. That's why I said it.
I know you saw it in the store, but no. I don't even understand how that would work, like texturally, because a candy cane is already like solid sugar, right?
No. They turn it. The way it works is they turn the like they put it in the batter, the sugar, and then
so it's like a filling.
Kinda, yeah. And then they
like
mold
if you
it.
Stuffed an Oreo into a candy cane.
It's like a mold, kind of like where they mold it into the shape of a candy cane. All a candy cane is.
So it's not actually a candy cane.
It's like a molding of a candy cane.
So it's like a mold of. Oh, okay. And you know that's actually not a bad idea.
I always found it weird though that all these years, like you would make candy canes, and you're like, oh wait, you can't actually eat a candy cane.
I mean, you can. It's your back teeth will hurt, and it'll stick. Because that was always a problem with candy canes with me. Because it was always like you know you're gonna eat it, but it's stuck everywhere. Plus, if you were really licking it, I mean, your hands would stick to things now. Or maybe it was just me.
Is that like the Jolly Ranchers back in the day where they would all stick? They used to suck because like I would chew the Jolly Ranchers and then they would get stuck like back here, like in the back of your like molar area almost.
Exactly. But you know what? I also have another question to put to you.
Okay.
Christmas cookies that are not sugar cookies. Yay or nay?
We just made sugar cookies actually because we were trying them out.
Yes, we did. Me and my brother actually made Christmas cookies for the first time. I wasn't able to do it last year. Finally, I was able to do it.
Yeah, we had them. They actually were not bad, but I like cookies that have something of significance in them.
Yeah, but is it weird to make chocolate chip cookies at Christmas? I feel like
maybe.
I mean, Christmas really seems to me like more of a sugar cookie season because it's really you don't really see sugar cookies anywhere other than Christmas, right?
We made brownies before on Christmas.
I mean, brownies are a different baked good. I'm talking about cookies specifically.
Okay. I mean, sugar cookies are not bad. I have no complaints.
No, they're great, especially if they're done right. But
I need a flavor. I need a flavor of some sort. Usually, when I eat a cookie, though, like something.
So you can't just have sugar.
No, I like sugar cookies, but I'm saying I like to have a flavor cookie of some sort. Like we've made. Well, I was going out and getting my new phone because I had to go get a new one. I went and got the iPhone 13.
Plug.
Sorry. Well, hey, maybe Apple. That's your wink to call us and sponsor. Anyway. And they have this really like one of those local cookie stores, like
Yeah.
small storefront stores. Those are the best, by the way. Those stores,
They are.
because like they're the local store.
They get way into it.
They're not a chain. Like they really. So like I like the chocolate cookie, the chocolate with the chocolate chip.
Yeah.
Those are the best.
Yeah, but I'm not talking. But that's not exactly. You could walk into a shop any time of the year and get.
This one had red velvet also.
Look, red velvet. It's great when you're down south. If you're down south eating red velvet cake, they do it best.
Or oatmeal raisin.
First of all, raisins. Don't get me started on raisins because raisins are just failed grapes.
What? Come on.
Raisins are terrible.
You've never had an oatmeal raisin cookie?
No. Oatmeal cookies are fine. When raisins get involved, that becomes a problem.
You know what's really good? My mom's friend made these every year for the holiday. It was a cookie made with dried cherries.
Yeah, the maraschino cherries.
And I didn't know it. All these years, I thought it was a chocolate chip cookie every time like she would bring it. And then one year, she's like, they're dried cherries. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good.
I've been eating fruit this entire time?
No, I don't care. I don't care. I would. It's fine with me. I didn't know it all these years.
Cherry cookie? I don't know.
They're like cooked dried cherries. Yeah. Like to look.
Of course, if you grew up in an Italian family like I did, I mean, rainbow cookies. You get rainbow cookies.
My brother likes rainbow cookies. I'm not the biggest rainbow cookie fan.
Depends on where you get them. If you're gonna make them, fine. But it depends on if you're gonna get them. If you're gonna get them, yeah. If you're gonna,
we usually get that. We usually get that rectangular package with the rainbow cookies in it.
Yep. If you're gonna have them, if you're gonna buy them, you got to get them from the right place.
Yeah, it's so weird. I mean, unfortunately, like our situation. That's the COVID police calling. Anyway, basically, we kind of got stuck because I had a close contact situation. So,
hey, you're not the only one who had to cancel or scale back plans.
And it sucks because this is the second straight year where Christmas is a little bit shorter than it should be, or we're gonna have to do it over Zoom, which sucks. But you know what? Because last year, and most people don't remember because we didn't have this podcast last year on Empty the Bench. Yeah, that was a fun. That
was a fun couple of days.
No, that was a fun couple of weeks.
That was a fun couple. It was a fun couple of days from our wondering. Okay, how do we bring this up?
Well, I didn't give a shit. I would have brought it up anyway.
Oh, I know you didn't give a shit. Tom and I did.
No, I mean it wasn't the issue of bringing it up. Who cares? But
that was an interesting couple of weeks.
I'll never forget that.
Thanks for that, ABC.
And by the way, Facebook decided to do that. Remember how they remind you of things that happened a year ago on the date?
Yep.
Well, guess what? That came up last week on Facebook.
It's like, thanks for reminding me.
And I wrote a comment, like I quoted it on Facebook, and I said, "Hey, Facebook, thanks for reminding me I had COVID a year ago today." And I don't mean like today as we're recording this. And when on that date when it came up,
yeah.
I was like, "Thanks, Facebook. You know how to make me feel better."
But you know what? You know what can cure your ills? Stuff in your face.
Well, yeah. Oh, we have plenty of food, and actually. If you want to know about some good Christmas food, yes, here's a shameless plug if you've never heard it before. My father, Howie Morgasen, does a great podcast, Living Life, Sweets, Treats, and Eats. It's part of our podcast network.
Go watch it now because the camera loves Howie.
Yes, and he did a full episode. It just came out beginning of last week. It's done well. It's got a lot of views, and we've been putting up clips. So basically... We did prosciutto wrapped breadsticks.
Yes.
We also
I saw that and I was like, wow. You guys are more guinea than I thought.
We did antipasto platters. We did what else did we do? I'm losing. Oh, we did caprese bites.
Caprese, yeah.
And then we did phyllo. Oh, they really call them phyllo shell bites, which is with brie cheese and.
Wait a minute. Philo, not philo.
Well, no, it's pronounced phyllo.
No, it's not.
It's phyllo shell.
Are we going to get into it? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
It's
Are
phyllo
you
shell.
telling me that all these years it's been pronounced phyllo and I never knew?
Yes, it's phyllo shell brie bites.
Wait a minute.
Damn it, where's the Jeopardy music when you need it?
Phyllo. See, thank you, Google. Thank you. I'm
No,
right.
but it's pronounced phyllo.
No, it's phyllo. It says here.
That's not a pronunciation. That's just how you're looking at the spelling. It's phyllo shell brie bites. Doesn't matter.
And it sounded delicious.
It's basically those like it looks like a seashell almost.
Yeah.
And with brie cheese, which you can't go wrong with.
Plus stuffed clams. Gotta have stuffed clams.
Right. Essentially stuffed clams. Put it in the oven, let it melt. And then you can either put on an apricot or a jam or a marmalade. It is to die for. It is so good.
There was for those of you who are not Italian Christmases are like there's always a pasta course. There's always an antipasto.
Oh,
There's always
I got a great question for you for Christmas. Do you believe in the 7 fishes?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, we do it. Yes.
Oh.
My grandmother, both sides of my family, my mother and my father, they grew up doing it. In fact, we were talking about it just last night because my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, used to come home with a bucket of live eels, pick them up, put them on the counter, and chop them. Actually, no, he would slap him against a wall to kill him, and then he would. So it's pretty barbaric, but we don't do that. But we do make sure not to eat meat on Christmas Eve.
Really?
Look, it's a religious thing that turned into a cultural thing. I mean, do you do it?
No.
You don't do it.
Well, we celebrate on Christmas Eve.
Well, you're half Italian, so you're like, yeah.
No, but we've always celebrated on Christmas Eve. Always.
I know, but you don't do the 7 fishes like we do. They set the pesce.
Well, no, they put fish out, but not like that.
Yeah, but it's not a central piece of the thing.
It stinks. It makes the whole area stink.
What? You don't like some nice calamari?
No, I like calamari. I can eat calamari till the cows come home. But
you gotta no, it's not calamari, it's calamari. You gotta have a calamari.
No.
But yeah, the scungili with the tentacles. I mean, come on.
No, but I just don't like that. It ruins like the whole dinner when it smells up the place.
So you're telling me that you wouldn't have like a fra diavolo with mussels and clams?
Well, part of it I'm allergic to. Part of it, but
what are you allergic to?
I'm allergic to some fish, but which is annoying. But I really like calamari. I'm not allergic to that, but I don't know. But to kind of finish off the rest of, because we were going through that episode, at the end of the episode, and you wouldn't believe this either, I make a little guest appearance at the end of the episode for a change. I come out from behind the camera.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty fun.
And guess what? We made cocktails.
You know what? That's also something that can help you get through the holidays. Booze.
By the way, we made one of my favorite things, by the way, limoncello.
Yeah, the limoncello was big with my grandmother.
But one year my father and I tried and failed big time. We tried to make a limoncello like ice cream, like that. We had an ice cream maker, but the problem is it didn't freeze.
So it's basically limoncello soft serve.
But it didn't work. Actually, we were trying to make limoncello ices. Is really what we were trying to make, and it didn't freeze.
But I bet you it tasted good.
I mean, it tasted good, but it was all melted. It was like a drink, really, at that point.
So it's a milkshake. So you know what? You take limoncello and you make lemonade.
But for this one, I think in the episode we used limoncello and vodka, and I think we might have poured a little too much on the spout. A little. Do
you actually like eggnog?
Hell to the no.
See, because I've been trying to wrap my head around the concept of eggnog.
Have you had it?
No.
Don't drink it. It's a mistake. Don't drink it.
Because it just seems like it'd be a milkshake, but with less fun.
It's like the other parts of the egg. That's what it is. It's
Yeah. So the texture's all weird.
that reminds me of like and of course I would make this reference. It reminds me of that Fairly Odd Parents Christmas episode where it keeps snowing. Mine. I don't. I'm gonna have to go find that reference and share it on social media. But heads up, Lockjaw. Oh boy, Nog.
Exactly. But I just don't get it. Maybe it's just me. It probably is just me.
I don't know. Christmas has some fun things. Christmas has a lot of fun food, but then it has a lot of weird food too.
It depends on which family you're spending it with.
You know what's good? Linguine and clam sauce.
Yep. Linguine, white or red?
White. I think. Yeah, white.
We've done both. I don't have a preference. I like them both, but it really depends on what kind of mood you're in.
By the way, that's something I was allergic to when I was a kid, and now I eat it by the bowl.
What, clams?
No, well, the linguine and clam sauce.
Oh, the linguine and clam sauce.
And like now I can eat it by the bowl, like
because things actually do taste good.
Well, the weird part is I'm an anomaly. Well, I could say I'm an anomaly for many reasons, but allergies, food allergies, to say the least.
Yeah, you used to have really bad food allergies, don't you?
You used to not be able to take me anywhere, like at all.
So peanuts and
now I eat peanut butter.
Yeah.
Go figure that one out.
Quite enthusiastically, and
eggs,
eggs and dairy to some extent, right?
Nah, dairy was okay. It was just the eggs. Like I couldn't eat omelets. Go figure that one out.
So something that had eggs in it was fair game, but eggs themselves.
Well, if it was cooked, don't try to make heads or tails of this one.
Of course, it'd be cooked. No, who eats raw eggs? What are you, Rocky?
No. I'm saying like I couldn't eat omelet, but as long as it was cooked like in a cake or something, then I could eat it. That was the weird thing.
Like a frittata?
Like anything like a cake or something that had eggs in it that was cooked all the way through, I could eat it. But if it was just eggs, I couldn't eat it.
Yeah,
which makes no sense.
I mean, kids have weird food allergies, but they always seem to disappear around the holidays when it came to me.
I had a soy allergy growing up.
That's weird. I've never actually heard of soy allergy.
You realize soy is in everything almost, right?
Yes.
And the way I found out, and I'll tell this quickly, when I was a kid, and I would come, and we're talking about kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, I would come home, and I'm sure you did this at one point. You had cookies and milk when you walked in the door.
Often.
So I grew up on a cookie, and no shameless plug because they're not around anymore, but Snackwells.
Snackwells, the chocolate ones or the vanilla ones?
The chocolate ones, the small ones in the green box.
Yeah, yep.
And that was like my thing.
The soft cakey ones, right?
Well, they were like this small. And
yeah.
And that was like religious for me. I'd come home and I'd eat that every single day. And then one day I was looking at the box when I was older, and on the side of the box it says soy lecithin on it.
Which, for those of you who don't know, is an extract that they use to use as a stabilizer, I think.
But all those years,
it had soy derivatives on it.
Right.
But it never affected you.
Right. And that's when all of a sudden, like, it hit me. Okay, now I need to go try things again. Like, and I was like, okay. The one thing I can never eat, though, and I've learned from going to the allergist a million times, cashews.
Oh, because you still have an allergy to cashews.
Severely.
Okay, so remind me to never put out mixed nuts.
That's what's so weird though, like because they would do that weird thing on my arm where they put
the allergy test.
Oh, which I hated because like one part of your arm would blow up like the size of a grapefruit, and then over here it doesn't do anything. Like
they give you an EpiPen?
Well, I used to carry it all the time when I went on school trips and everything. That was the worst. Like, hey, what's that you're carrying? Oh, EpiPen. What's that?
I use it so I don't die.
And the weird part is like I was one of those weird instinct type kids. Like I knew my allergies from the time I was like 3 or 4 years old.
Yep.
So like I'll never forget. We went to this Chinese place on a school trip, I know we're going way off the rails, but Chinese food kind of has to do with Christmas in some aspect.
Yeah,
So,
for those of you who are Jewish and don't celebrate Christmas.
so we went to I can't remember the name of the place, but everybody from the school went. It was like a full day trip. And I kept saying to myself, I don't trust the food. I don't trust the food, whatever. So I didn't eat it. Everybody on the trip got sick.
It was the hibachi thing, wasn't it?
It was some kind of like Chinese / Japanese / whatever.
Like, was it like a buffet or was it like?
I don't know. I don't remember now. I don't remember the name of the place. Not that that would be very nice to say anyway. But everybody on the trip got food poisoning. All the kids got food poisoning.
Except for you.
And I think I don't know if my mother went on most of the trips when I was younger. So
she was your chaperone.
Pretty much. Hi, Mom. Just kidding. Anyway. But yes, I was the only one who didn't get sick. So in one instinct, where my instincts were right, everyone got food poisoning except me.
Well, you know what? That's the kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that gives you the self-confidence you'll carry for years.
Yes, just
I was right about this one thing. I'm right about everything else.
Just rule of thumb: if you have food allergies, and I'm an advocate for food allergies, so I understand this. Be very careful and read everything. Just please, so you don't end up in anaphylactic shock. Or choking or coughing, having coughing fits, or like me when I was 3 years old and we went to the Bahamas. Was it 3 or 4? I was thinking, and the chef forgot to say that there was something in there that I couldn't eat, and I was choking, and they literally had to hold me over the railing to cough it out.
Oh, they did the railing Heimlich. Oh God, oh.
And my uncle, who, by the way, who is one of the hosts of Living Life, by the way. He's the one who does home design concepts.
Yeah. I think you'd mentioned that.
He literally, and I'll have to tell this story another time when we have more time, but I can tell you some of it now. He choked the chef almost. I swear, and I still remember it.
I'm laughing. It's just
there is some laughter in it. I don't dispute that in any way, but he almost choked the chef because he forgot to keep the allergens out, the food I shouldn't have been eating.
And this is why even if you tell the chef, they could forget.
Well, that's why whenever food comes out, when we go to places like that, I always look at it first. And people will say to me, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm just observing my food in case something ended up in it because I have food allergies."
Yeah, I know you have food allergies, but they're not as bad, are they?
No, but I still have. There's certain things I can't eat, like because they use peanut oil in a lot of stuff, or they use nuts in a lot of things when you go out now.
Good point.
Even though it's weird, though, like when I used to work in the summer camp with my mother, I worked at her nursery school. I was a camp counselor. Yes, there's a lot of weird things you don't know about me.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
And the rules were just changing with the way food was labeled at the time. And it was, excuse me, and what was so great, everyone would come up to me because I was the food allergy expert.
Because you always knew what was safe to eat and what wasn't.
So I'll never forget this. Someone brought in a bag of pretzels, like the big
old industrial like can of pretzels,
right? Because we had to serve snacks to the classes that we all work with the group at campus.
Those big barrels
of
pretzels.
And I knew where everything was. I also helped everybody with everything. And so I go to look. I bring the bag down, and for some reason, this is the one time I forgot to look at the bag. And so
I can see where this is going.
So the head counselor, because I wasn't allowed to be a head of a class, because that, whatever.
Giving you too much power.
So
same reason why you don't give a monkey a loaded gun.
Right. So they show me the bag, and they say, "Oh," and you'll love this because I don't agree with this half the time. What do you think the bag says on most of the snack stuff?
Processed in a facility that also deals with
peanuts, peanuts, and it's processing in a factory where there could be nuts.
Yes,
that could be taken so wrong in so many ways. But I'm just going to talk about the real thing anyway. Excuse me. So the rule was, and I'll never get over it to this day, they were not allowed to bring stuff into the camp that had that label on it.
Why?
Because there were some nut allergies in the building.
Well, yeah.
But I said, wait a minute. I said, if you're gonna, that's everything. That's literally
everything is. So if it's not peanuts, or if it's
every pretzel,
fried in peanut oil,
every pretzel, every cookie, every chip bag is going to say that.
Soybean oil, though. That's different though.
So I literally had to explain to like the heads of the camp that you can't do that. Like, because, and I said, take it from me, someone who's had the allergies all their life. You can't do that.
No, you can't do that.
You have to use discretion. You have to know what you can eat and what you can't eat. And the reason they have to put that warning, well, most of the morons out in the audience are not going to understand this, but why do you think they put that label on there?
To make it idiot-proof.
It's not just that. They're protecting their asses so they don't get a lawsuit.
They're covering their asses.
It's not because they don't want you to eat the food.
They want to make sure they don't get sued.
Because if they don't put it, say you don't even get the large,
put it, you could get sued.
Say you don't even get the largest reaction and something still happens. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to sue you.
Yeah, they're legally liable.
So it's just one of those things. You just be careful with, especially around the holidays, because there's a lot of fancy things made with a lot of ingredients on the holidays, a lot, and mixed things too. So that the moral of that story is just be very careful when you make your stuff for the holidays. Yep. Wow, that story went totally roundabout.
So for those of us, just so you know, just be safe this holiday.
Yeah, this is the last episode of the year. Sorry, we had some timing, scheduling issues over the last week. And I could let you in on a secret. Get closer. Get very close. Get very close. I have a secret. Okay? We have 3 to 4 guests coming up in the next couple months, at least.
So we've got more content. So just make sure you like and subscribe and ring the bell and follow ETB Network at ETB Network.
Oh, you mean this?
Yep.
Follow that at ETB Network. They have a lot of shows. Another show that's actually launching. I don't know when this episode's coming out. It's this week. It's launching this week.
So cool. So make sure you tune in for that.
Also follow, as we said, follow the show on social media at Beyond the Bench 1 on Twitter. Same thing for Facebook. As you can see, it's scrolling across the bottom. Our accounts are there at Morgasen Radio, at Nick Writes Words. Anything planned for the New Year's since Christmas is kind of...
Nope. But for right now, all I'll say is make sure you have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, stay safe. And for Nick Morgasen, I'm Nick Fodera. We'll see you back on the bench in 2022.
Yeah, we'll see you in 2022, and hopefully everyone has a happy, healthy, and safe Christmas and New Year, and try to stay safe from COVID. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.